possible? What else is possible? So this phrase most recently heard from, like, I'm not sure where it came from, to be honest. Like, I've heard different variations of it, and the most early version of it that I can remember was when I was still a competitive skydiver. And when I first started competing, it started with two people. It was me and my teammate Christian. Eventually we wanted to be on a four-way team, which is what like all the fancy competitive skydivers do. So I needed to work on my skills like in a two-person environment first. So it was me and Christian, and we had a coach, and we'd get down and I would just be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I totally screwed that up. If I had done this, and this differently, that jump would have gone so much better. And my coach was like, Sydney, pump the brakes. Hold on a second. First things first, let's talk about how we debrief a skydive. Number one, list 3 things that went well. Even if the jump was totally crap, you landed, you're alive, you're still breathing. So if the only 3 things that went well were I exited the aircraft safely, my parachute opened on time and as I wanted it to, and I landed safely, that's still a good jump because you're still here to talk about it. So start with the 3 things first that went well. Then move into 3 things you can improve on and how. And the and how was a really important part because I would just be like, well, I just suck at life and I'm so sorry. And in a situation where there's mentorship or coaching or whatever, the and how is super important because like we don't know the answer to everything. We don't know what we don't know. But it got me thinking critically about what I did wrong, and I evaluated my performance to the point where if I could figure out a way to fix it, I would. But if I didn't, that's what my coach was for. And I could ask for that help that I needed. So the first time that if this is possible, what else is possible, came around was when I was debriefing my performance, because that came to apply to all different parts of my life. So the first step of that was learning to shift from assuming the worst first to trying to see the positive first. So once I learned how to debrief my skydives that way, I was an event coordinator at the time and we had just done a bunch of big events. So now after every event, I did the same thing. I was like, okay, here's what went well with this event. Here's what we could improve on and how. And if there were parts of the and how that I didn't know, then I asked my boss. I was like, I think we could do this better, but I'm not sure what kind of resources we have at hand. How could we make this better? And then I started doing that in my communication practices. Like if I had a little tiff with a friend or if I said something to Barry and I didn't communicate it in the way I wanted to, I looked back at that and I was like, okay, here's what went well with that situation. Here's what I could improve and how. And so I just started thinking about that, which primed me for when I went to a women's entrepreneurship retreat. Back in 2015, I was at this weekend event with all these women and it was amazing. Like there were some of it that was like really stupid and a little too woo-woo for me at the time because this was my first entry into like spiritual awakening and personal development, like real hard concrete growth that wasn't taught via being on a team or in a book. It was like in your face. This is your problem. This is how you fix it. This was my first experience with that. And while some of it was kind of weird, overall the weekend was amazing. And so I was just like, oh my God, is this real life? Like, have you had a day like that where it's like the best day ever and you're like, oh my, there's no way this is real life. Is this real life? It is. And one of the women that was hosting that event encouraged me to like level up a little bit. She's like, next time you say, is this real life? Tell yourself that it is. Like remind yourself that you did just have this experience. And also ask yourself what else is possible here. So if you just had the best day ever, what else is possible? Like, if it's this good, what else could be this good? What else could come? Asking that question has made major shifts in my life. So then in 2017, I was taking a class by my friend Stacy Shelton, and it's called Unraveled. And so she uses the metaphor of knitting to explain how we find these lies that have been holding us back, all these bullshit stories we tell ourselves that keep ourselves like playing small, these things that we don't claim. So in the world of knitting, if you're like knitting, and then there's this knot like back in your pattern here, you have to like unravel all the thread, all the yarn to get to that knot. And then you unknot it, and then you have this like pile of spent yarn. What are you going to do with this pile? So if the knot is a lie you've been telling yourself, then you like follow it. You're connecting the dots, unraveling the thread, unpacking your trauma pack to get to this lie. What is this? And if that's a lie, what else is a lie? So then you kind of like, you look further back and you're like, oh, well, that lie was born out of this other thing, this other story I used to tell myself, and that's a lie. Okay, well, if this one's a lie, what else is a lie? And then you go back. So then it's just this unpacking of these negative things that have happened in your life, which is incredibly powerful work. And the real ticket, the one that like sealed the deal for me, that was like an asteroid hitting the planet, in that it just blew me wide open, was when I was taking my first level of improv at Finest City Improv. My teacher was a man named Gary Ware. Gary joins us for hikes now. He's like one of the coolest people I know on this planet. And thanks to the container of improv, he asked, if this is true, what else is true? So in improv, when you're building a scene, the theme, like the overarching understanding of improv, is this principle called yes and. So when you're building a scene with your scene partner, if I hand you an apple, you don't say, I'm like, oh, here's an apple, and we're going to build a scene based on that exchange. You don't say, you're so silly, that's a machine gun. You say, oh, apples, that's my favorite. What should we do with it? And then maybe we go make a pie. Maybe somebody makes a bong. I don't know. But like, the apple is the thing, and you acknowledge that, yes, I gave you the apple, and you acknowledge that offering is truth. So if that is true, if that's an apple, what else is true? What else is possible? So Gary helped me shift, if this is a lie, what else is a lie? Which is very important work, because we all tell ourselves a ton of lies. But to move through the world assuming everything is a lie and trying to unpack it is a really negative headspace to be in. So Gary offered this flip, which was, if this is true, what else is true? So in the context of my diabetes, when I realized, I was like, oh, I'm on the top of this mountain. This all happened before I had this language from Gary. But essentially what I did was, if I can get diagnosed with diabetes, make educated decisions, see these results, make good choices, if that is true, what else is true? And that's a really powerful place to explore from, because then you're not just nitpicking for all the negative that's happened. You're learning to observe all of life and find beauty everywhere. So you're taking that silver lining, you're applying it to everything. And now, instead of being like, if that's a lie, what else is a lie? You can say, oh my God, like today I wake up and I feel amazing. If that's true, what else is true? Like, if this is possible, what else is possible? So today, I want you to focus on one good thing in your life. And I know these times are crazy and it might be hard to find stuff. And if you were me last week, if you asked me to find one good thing in my life last week while I was crying on this Facebook Live, I don't know what I would have said. I probably would have been like, and shut the scene, I'm done. But if we think about it in this way, find one good thing. Like, if you can't find anything that's good, like, go outside. Are the birds singing? Okay, if that is possible, what else is possible? Like, if birds can find it in their hearts to sing right now, what else is possible? Maybe you're having a different experience. Maybe you're adapting to this new world that we're living in very well. Maybe this isn't as stressful as you thought it would be. Well, if you can adapt to this in a pretty easy way that feels good to you, if that's possible, what else is possible? And if you're sober, if you're celebrating however many days without alcohol, if you haven't contacted the problematic ex, if you're no contact, like if you are abstaining from something and you've been doing it for X amount of days or X amount of hours or X amount of minutes, congratulations for, first of all, like, yay you. And also, if that is possible, what else is possible? Because the thing that you're abstaining from, you weren't abstaining from before. And you probably didn't think you could until you got tired of your own shit and decided you'd give it a try. So if that is possible, if you can kick booze, kick problematic exes, kick whatever habits are not serving you in the happiest, healthiest, most holistic way, what else is possible? So for intentions this week, join the conversation. I called bullshit on you not having time to do the work. If you don't want to share the work, that's fine. But at least do the photo challenge, because this one is easy and it gets you outside and a little less feeling stir crazy. So go outside. If you have a yard, get out there. If you live in a city and you're able to get to some green space, go there. Depending on the weather, if it's cold where you are, I don't recommend being barefoot, but if you can, be barefoot. If it's too cold outside to be barefoot, like touch a tree, like smell a flower, whatever, but get connected with the earth in some way. Tap into your senses, smell the air, listen to the sounds of the wind rustling through the branches or whatever, but like, look around. If you don't have good eyesight or if you're blind, then listen. If you're hard of hearing or you're deaf, then pay attention or touch things. Like, tap into your senses and just observe your surroundings, and then let that, like, take a picture, like, observe everything, take a picture of yourself in this outdoor space, and then let your observations inform the caption for the picture. That's it. Like, just go out there, pay attention, keep your phone in your pocket, look around, do this for however long you feel comfortable. If it's cold, do it, like, don't like freeze to death, but be outside, experience life, smell the smells, hear the hears, see the sights, and then just write from that place. Like, literally just articulate what you saw or heard or smelt or whatever. And then to layer up on that, do that, like, preferably today, share it in the group, let's get the conversation going. And then for your mindful morning tip every day this week, do that. Like, go outside, get grounded, look around, revel in the fact that we're still alive. Things are weird, the world is changing, we're not sure what's going to happen, but right now we're here and we're breathing. Let's honor that and let that be your mindful part of the morning, or use it between tasks. Like, if you're going from entertaining kids to making a meal, everybody go outside, or just mom or just dad or whatever, go outside, get grounded, observe the stuff, take a picture, like, breathe a little bit, and then go back in. Like, take these opportunities. If you can't set aside big chunks of time for yourself in the world that we're living in right now, use little activities like this to break up the tasks, to give yourself that time to reconnect with yourself. Because like I said, these are uncertain times, this is uncharted territory, and a lot of us are pouring from very, 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 very empty cups. So give yourself time to, like, recharge and restore and refill your cup between all the things that you're doing every day. So the prompts this month, or this week, again, like I said, I'm calling bull. Find some time. Like, if it's just like one question a day, do that. If it's looking at the prompts and being like, I don't want to answer that because this is what I feel and I'm not ready to go there, that is doing the work. But avoiding it is not. Doing the work doesn't have to be doing everything that I did and having this big fucking blowout of, like, personal healing, transformation, phoenix journey rising. Like, if you don't want that, you don't have to, because frankly, it's disruptive and life is disrupted right now. But at least go through the prompts and tell yourself why you're not doing it. Because then when you are ready, if you're ready, you can go back to it and you'll be like, I'm glad that I took the time to acknowledge why I couldn't respond to this. Because if you just look at it and you're like, nope, scary, hurts, I hate it, and you start feeling the physical sensations that feel like you're getting triggered, you're never going to be able to move through that, and you will always continue to be held back. I'm saying this for myself. I still go through this every single damn day. This week has been an exercise and not producing, because when I go into crisis mode, I want to fix, I want to be productive, I want to feel valuable, I want to feel like I'm contributing. And in order for me to be able to do that, I have to restore myself. So you have to create this time for yourself. And it's easy for me to say, I don't have kids, I live in a van, we have 9 acres. In the world of, like, where we're at right now, pretty privileged. I have no idea what's going to happen for us financially. That part remains to be seen. But in this moment right now, I have everything I need. I've got my husband who's holding the GoPro in my face while I do this. I've got you guys, a beautiful community where we're all here together. We're in this. We're going to get through it. I've got this beautiful space. Like, it's actually nice outside. We're seeing sun today and yesterday for the first time since the week we got here. So take the time. The prompts this week. And these, considering the times we're living in, these are really important prompts to be thinking about. And I feel like this is a nice place to start if you haven't started doing the prompts. And if you have, thank you very much for doing them. Continue on your evolution. So the prompts this week: when was the last time you prioritized your health over everything else on your to-do list? Have you ever done that? If you are living with chronic illnesses, what other things do you put before your health? Because your health is the most important thing. Last week we were talking about abundance. Right now, the most valuable form of abundance is our health, because we are in the middle of a pandemic with a disease, with a virus going around this country that we don't understand yet. Your health is the most important part of your life right now, before anything else. So if you haven't ever prioritized your health above everything else, I want you to make a list of everything that you do in the morning before you take time for yourself. And if you don't take time for yourself, this list might be very long and it might be very sobering. But if you wake up and you make breakfast for everybody else, showering for yourself, I'll give it to you, but that's not taking time. That's like a basic function of hygiene and, like, existing. So what are all the things that you do before you prioritize your health? And by prioritize your health, I mean, like, what do you do before you move your body? If you don't move your body, that list might be long, because you might be making breakfast, having coffee, watching the news, going to work, taking care of the kids, making dinner, going to sleep. If you don't take time for yourself, that list is going to be a slap in the face. And I don't like having people get slapped in the face. So when you rate your list and you're like, oh my God, I literally never prioritize myself, share that list in the group. Because what I'm going to do when we get off this is I'm going to make you a list of all the things I do before I take care of myself, because I have not been taking my own medicine lately. One, because I'm kind of cooped up because it's been raining. But two, I'm not just sitting here saying that I'm perfect and that you should be like me. I'm saying these are the things that have worked for me, and they've worked really well. And if I continue to do them, I'll continue to see the benefits. But I have to do this own work for myself on a daily basis. I'm not up here on some throne, like, telling you that this is the way and that if you don't do it, you're f***ed. I'm just saying, like, it's worked. And now's a pretty good time to establish some new habits that you can take with you into life, whatever life looks like in the next chapter after we get through this. Number 2, how do you cope when you're stressed out? How's it been going this week? Like, we're all stressed. And for me, it's been it was trying to overschedule myself and imagine, like, I just followed the worst case scenario all the way to my death, and that wasn't productive. That helps literally nobody. So how do you cope when you're stressed out? How do you celebrate? And when you're feeling stressed, where do you feel it in your body? Does it feel like weight on your chest? Does it feel like a pit in your stomach? Does it feel like a headache? Does it feel like you're having a hard time breathing? Like, what does it feel like when you feel stress, and where do you feel it in your body? And this is your third reminder of this course. It was the first one. I think it was on like week 6 or something. And I'm doing it again. Check on your strong friends. A lot of us are really good at pretending like we've got it all together, and we're barely hanging on. So send them a text, send them a DM, poke them on Facebook or whatever, send them an email, carrier pigeon, whatever. But like, reach out to some of your strong friends and see how they're doing, because some of your strong friends are probably also some of your extroverted friends, and extroverted friends in quarantine might be extra struggly. So just give them a little bit of love, say hey, and you're thinking about them. Video chats are great. The Facebook Messenger, like, voice memos are great. If you don't feel like having your face on camera, you can just like let people know that you're thinking of them and let them hear your voice. That's really nice too. And then the song for this week is it's called Easy Runaway. It's by Stick Figure, and the lyrics to this song really just make my life amazing, and they make everything feel better. And the link that I posted has, for the YouTube link in the email, and on the resources page has the lyrics video. So it's like, it's beautiful footage plus the lyrics plus the music. So it's like the whole experience. And if I could share my screen, I would do that and share it with you, but I can't. So I'm just going to play the song for you. But I highly recommend jumping into that resource section and at least watching the video with the lyrics so you can like see it as it's coming up. But here's the song. I'm going to review the questions. I'm going to get my markers ready. I'll answer any questions when I get back from the song, and then we'll just do some coloring. So thanks for being here. All right, I'm coloring for a second. Let me just finish this. Then I'll see what everybody's up to. Okay, so I got one done. All right, so hey. All right, so I don't know if anybody's still here, but I'm just gonna put on some music, and I'm gonna do some coloring, and then if you have any questions, comments, complaints, concerns, just let me know, and I'll check in periodically. But just to jump in real quick here, Jess and Vicky, amazing contributions. Thank you for being here. Vicky, I understand how much food is part of the Latinx culture, so I appreciate you saying that and stepping in. And that's one of the things, like, it starts with that. And when we look at the foods that are traditionally consumed in our cultures, are they healthy? A lot of that is based on socioeconomic principles or factors, and access to different kinds of foods, and understanding how to eat in season, and if we're growing our own and stuff like that. So it's so important to look at these different traditions that we have culturally and see if they're helping, if they're improving our lives in all ways. Like, the connection that we find from sharing food and preparing food for others as a sign of love is one that you can't really beat. I'm yet to find another kind of way to show love where I can A, feed somebody, B, feel like I'm producing something, and C, like feel like I'm doing something positive for someone. Like it is one of the strongest ways I know how to show love and how to provide. And also to take that and look at it and be like, oh, and now I enjoy making food for other, like vegan food for other people. That's exactly how we can do this. That's exactly how we can take these things that are traditional and culturally so relevant and so part of how we are and turn it into something amazing that makes our communities healthier and happier and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it is such a huge part of very, very many cultures. And then Jess, I don't know what you said you're guilty of, but you're welcome for the reminder. So I'm going to color some more. I'm going to hop in on the Facebook app just in case this is going to let me see who has questions. And then we will go from there.
What you doing there?
I just got done coloring.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I got done today.
You're all de-stressed because of that,
Yeah.
so you're fine, so you just kind of stop there?
Yeah.
Wait for another crisis to come through before you pick up a coloring?
Well,
crayon
the video just like ended itself on the Facebook page. So I did Read and Reflect Live, and I colored with the people there for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I'm going to take this to the main page. And so I took it to the main page, and then I was watching, and it was like, and your broadcast is over. I was like, okay, I guess I'm done coloring. But I feel good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What are we doing today?
You're making meatballs.
Yeah.
And we're going to do homesteading stuff.
Nice.
And then, we're watching all the cars get turned around because apparently there's a ranger down at the Three Sisters turning people away.
Good. Haha.
Joshua Tree's closed.
Yep.
But what people are doing is actually the gates are closed, so what they're doing is just parking on the outside and just going in.
Oh my God, people.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, I'm colored and de-stressed. Hey!
Yay. Next time on Williams in the Wild. What you doing in there?
I'm playing carrots.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I see those seeds there.
Oh, they're huge. That's gonna turn into carrots someday.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's something, isn't it?
it's freaking wild, man.
So what did we plant today? Carrots?
Beets, and cucumbers in this box.
Yeah, lettuce,
then-
tomatoes, 2 different types of tomatoes.
Yeah, we got some kale.
Uh-huh.
We got some bunch of herbs. All the things.
Yeah.
For herbs. And yeah. What else we got? We haven't planted watermelon yet, but we got 2 different kinds of watermelon.
We got a bunch of hot peppers.
We got a bunch of hot peppers. We got garlic. A bunch of stuff.
A bunch of potatoes, fingerling,
Yeah.
russet,
Goldens.
golden.
Yeah.